All right, so to end off Wildcard Weekend, we've got one final matchup. And to be honest, this is my favorite matchup of Wildcard Weekend. I am excited for this game. So, this final matchup here, we have the Arizona Cardinals heading down to LA to take on the Rams in an NFC West matchup. This is going to be fun. This is going to be spectacular. I expect this game to be competitive and to come down to the wire. Cannot wait. Both of these teams had great seasons. Both of these teams looked like two of the best teams in the NFC. But in the last couple weeks, both of them kind of fell off. Some due to injury, others due to certain reasons that we will get into. But both these teams, they performed well overall in the season. Here they are in the playoffs matching up against each other. I think either one of these teams could really go on a run if the cards fall in their hands, especially the Rams, a team I said was going to win the NFC West, and they went on to do so. So let's get into this matchup. Who has the edge? Let me tell you something, guys. This is easily the hardest choice I have to make. Out of all my predictions here, this is the hardest one. When you look at them offensively, especially when it comes to the quarterback, Matthew Stafford, Kyler Murray, this is tough. Talent-wise, Kyler should get the edge. Production-wise, Stafford gets the edge. He threw 41 touchdowns. Yeah, he's got 17 picks, but he threw 41 touchdowns this year. So when you look at this, it's very tough. In terms of who's the better quarterback, it's somewhat difficult, man, because both of them have been really great. Kyler was in the MVP conversation. Matthew Stafford in the MVP conversation as well. You have two guys in the MVP conversation this season. One fell off due to injury. The other is still in the mix, but due to some poor play in some situations, he may have fallen off, and you look more towards Brady, Rodgers, Jonathan Taylor, and even Cooper Kupp, one of his teammates, who probably have a better chance to get it than him. But we'll see. So you have two guys that were in the MVP conversation that sort of fell off towards the end, going up against each other. They both had really good years, and it's tough to pick who has the edge between these two. So honestly, I'm going to keep that as a tie, because talent-wise, one guy's got the edge. Performance-wise this season, the other has the edge. Overall, I'm just going to keep it as a tie. I think it's about even, because both of them have also been playing somewhat poorly down the stretch here. Since Kyler's come back from his injury, he hasn't looked like the same guy we saw, putting up those MVP numbers. And with Matthew Stafford, he's putting up these high numbers, but there are several games where he has cost his teams with interceptions. He had back-to-back weeks where he threw pick sixes in both games in which they lost. Again, he's thrown multiple interceptions in multiple games, and last week he cost his team versus the Niners. It's tough. It's tough to pick between these two right now. I'm going to say it's dead even, and I'm hopeful that both these guys will show up and play well in this game. So when we look at offensive talent, who has the edge in that case? Well, when you look at the offense here, it's a bit tough. You look at the Cardinals, got Christian Kirk, you got Zach Ertz, you got AJ Green. Unfortunately, they're missing their main guy in DeAndre Hopkins. Meanwhile, you look at the Rams, they obviously have Cooper Kupp, you got Higbee, you got Jefferson, you've got Odell. I feel because of the loss of DeAndre Hopkins, the Rams get the edge. Had the Cardinals had Hopkins for this game, I think you can also say it's dead even in overall targets and just productions from both the offense. So, it's unfortunate, but the Cardinals not having DeAndre Hopkins is a huge blow to their offensive production, especially in the explosiveness of what that offense was. Because when Hopkins was there, man, him and Kyler were putting up amazing numbers together. But because he's not there, you miss that guy that can match what you're getting from Cooper Kupp. And because of that, the edge goes to the Rams defensively. Both defenses are good. Once again, you see the Cardinals are missing another piece there in J.J. Watt. We also don't know if he'll be back for the playoffs. They said he might, but they're not sure if he'll be here for the wild card round. So we just don't know about J.J. Watt. The same was said about DeAndre Hopkins. They're not sure if he could be able to return in time for the postseason. We just don't know. But if those two guys are not playing in this game, it's going to be very tough for the Cardinals as a whole. So defensively, you look at the Rams. I mean, look at the talent they have all around, man. Do we have to talk about the secondary where they do have Ramsey there? Do we have to talk about this front seven where you have both Von Miller and Aaron Donald together? I mean, just talent-wise, the Rams are just the better defense. So they have the edge compared to the Cardinals. However, the Cardinals defense has been really good this season. I like what I've seen from the Cardinals defense. It's just injuries have kind of hurt them as the season's gone by. Injuries have been the only issues the Cardinals have suffered through this year. It's not like their defense or their offense have been playing bad. It's really just been injuries that have set them back. Hopefully, they'll be able to play well in this game. So overall, offense and defense, I'm giving the edge to the Rams. Quarterback-wise, I'm going to put it dead even. I could honestly go with maybe Kyler in terms of who I trust more, but I'm not going to put that as a factor here when I'm doing those two. Because if I'm going to use that, I wouldn't use that in who has the edge. I'll use that in ultimately deciding who I'm going to pick for the game, which, keep in mind, that will come into play. So, yeah, the Rams have the edge here. So what's going to happen in the game? Well, let's talk about keys to the game. Here we go. For the Rams, I think it's very simple. Offensively, you need two things. One, you need to be able to completely utilize your weapons. Cooper Kupp needs to be heavily involved, which he will be. But Odell, another guy who's come here in the last couple weeks, has really turned it on and has become a useful weapon for Matthew Stafford in this offense. He needs to be utilized as well. I need Cooper Kupp. I need Odell to be utilized here. I know you got Higbee. I know you got Jefferson. You're going to try to get them involved. But those two, Cooper Kupp, Odell, both of them need to be utilized in this game, especially when you're trying to look for big plays down the field. You got to look for those two guys. So I need them to be utilized. Those two guys need to be utilized more than anybody else on the offense. So that's one. Number two, and most importantly, Matthew Stafford. You have been great, and you have been an issue. You have been so stressful to watch this season at times. And honestly, you've stressed me out. I believe the Rams can go deep in the postseason. I believe they're going to meet the Packers in the NFC, my mistake. The AFC, well, I did it twice. My mistake once again. I believe the LA Rams will be able to meet up with the Packers in the postseason, and I believe that will most likely be in the NFC title game. But with the way Matthew Stafford has been playing, I am not sure that could be the case. I feel like if he's turning the ball over, he will cost this team a chance to win. Which is why the number two thing has to be Matthew Stafford cannot turn the ball over. I'm dead. I don't need no picks. I don't need no fumbles. Do not turn the ball over, Stafford. Please don't turn the ball over. Please. If you turn the ball over and give extra possessions to Cardinals, you will be in trouble and your team will be in trouble. So those are the two things offensively. Utilize your weapons, especially Cooper Kupp and Odell, and Matthew Stafford. Do not turn the football over once. Just don't turn the ball over. If you turn the ball over, you're going to put your team in a bad position. Defensively, you've got to find a way to slow down their weapons. Now, with DeAndre Hopkins not playing, that's going to be a little bit more easier. You can put more of an emphasis towards guys like A.J. Green, Christian Kirk, and Zach Ertz. But they still do got those weapons here. And of course, James Conner is also running the rock there. And Kyler is always a threat with his legs. So you have to pay attention to him as well. So focus on slowing down their weapons. Focus on putting pressure on Kyler and making it difficult for him. Focus on trying to slow down any run production they try to come up with. If the Rams defense can do that, they will win this game. For the Cardinals, defensively, you got to force Matthew Stafford to make mistakes. I'm telling you, that is the biggest difference maker you can make when it comes to going up against the Rams. Force Stafford to make mistakes, and you will be put in a great position to win. If the Cardinals defense can get 2 picks off of Stafford, they will be in a great position to win this game. So all they need to do is force Stafford to turn the ball over, and they will be in a great position. They'll give those extra possessions to Kyler, and we'll see what that offense can do. Speaking of the offense, keys to the game for the Cardinals offense, they've got to come up with some explosive plays. It's going to be tough dealing with the front seven of the Rams. And their secondary is really great as well. You know, they got pieces there. Though I don't completely trust their secondary as a unit. I trust Ramsey, but I don't trust the unit as a whole. I still, just like the Bucs, I've got questions about the Rams secondary. So I feel that these weapons need to be able to pop off. They got to go off, and they got to come up with some explosive plays. If you can get that from the Cardinals receivers, you're going to be put in a great place. So Cardinals got to establish the run game, got to get James Conner going, got to completely utilize the talents of Kyler, but most importantly, you've got to get these weapons involved. If you can get these weapons involved, you will have a great chance to win this game. So with that being said, who's taking the W? Who's moving on? Which NFC West team will head to the divisional round? This is tough. As I said earlier, when it comes to trusting a quarterback who I put more trust in, especially down the line, that comes into play with my decision making. And honestly, if I'm picking between who I'm going to trust more down the stretch to not make a mistake or not mess up at all, I trust Kyler not to mess up more than I trust Matthew Stafford. However, I believe in this Rams defense, and I believe that they can be able to overcome whatever mistake Stafford makes late in the game. I know it's tough. They had an opportunity to do that last week against the Niners, and obviously we saw how that went. But I'm just hoping. I'm just hoping right now. I think at the end of the day, I have so much trust, faith, and belief in that Rams defense that I believe they will be the ones to ultimately seal this game. This is going to be a close game, and I'm going to put my trust in the Rams defense to make a stop late in this game and get them the win. If Matthew Stafford can get out of his own way and not turn the ball over, the Rams will win. So I'm going to take the Rams. This is a team I picked to win their division, and they did. This is a team I picked to meet the Packers in the NFC title game, and I'm hopeful that will be the case. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to pick the LA Rams to barely edge out the Arizona Cardinals, and the Rams will be moving on to the divisional round. Oh boy, that's a gamble, man. It's a gamble. I don't trust Stafford. So I'm going to have to rely on the defense to get this win. And because of the way Kyler's looked in the last couple weeks, I think that's very possible. I really do. But we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. A team that, two teams that know each other so well, two teams that split in the regular season. Who's going to get the tiebreaker here? We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm going to take the Rams. With that being said, that is all I've got. I cannot wait for Wildcard Weekend to start. This is going to be fantastic. A lot of great games that will be played. And we'll just see what happens. With that being said, that is all I've got. And I'm out of here, man. Peace.